Good to have you back. The ICA has another contract for you if you're interested.
Of course I'm interested. Standard rate.
What are you talking about? We don't pay you.
What?
You're making YouTube videos about video games. This isn't a paid gig.
How am I supposed to buy the games if I'm not being paid?
5 of the games you're looking at were on sale for $4.
I don't have that kind of money. I mean, why would I be doing this if I'm not getting paid?
Do you want the damn contract or not? I'll transfer $5 into your account if you stop bitching.
Fine. Oh, hello. This is the second time I've had to record this entire video in this super hot sweaty suit in the middle of the summer because the first time I recorded it, the audio sounded terrible. Hitman is one of my favorite game franchises of all time. These games feature a unique take on stealth that stands out from the likes of Metal Gear while feeling just as satisfying. My dad actually had these games on PS2, this trilogy box set. I don't remember him actually playing them, but I distinctly remember the aura around the main character. I wouldn't get into the series until Hitman 2016 came out and I saw one of my favorite gameplay channels playing it, and ever since then I was mildly into the series because I was like 12 when this game came out, and it was way too hard for me to call myself a dedicated fan. It wouldn't be until I got much older that I started to truly appreciate these games enough to go back and pick up the older entries. But to my surprise, one has always eluded. A while back I added Hitman 2 Silent Assassin to my collection, followed by what I thought was the first game, Hitman Contracts. I mean, it didn't have a number, and it was included in the box called Hitman Trilogy. Can you blame me for assuming that it was the original game? But Contracts actually came out 2 years after Silent Assassin, and the real first entry was a PC exclusive called Hitman Codename 47, released in the year 2000. I have to assume that unless you bought all of these games on release, most people would assume that this is the first game like I did, because Codename 47 never came to consoles. And to be fair, Contracts has multiple levels from the first game, but why not call this one Hitman 3 just to keep things clear? For future reference with this marathon, this series does the reboot thing where new entries reuse numbers, and I'll try to remain as consistent with this as possible, but these games are Hitman 2016 and Hitman 2. These games are Hitman Codename 47 and Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. I'll refer to the original two as either Hitman Silent Assassin or just Silent Assassin. Got it? Good, because I am probably going to fuck that up in the next video in this marathon. And if that happens in that future video, be sure to call me a dumbass in the comments about it. Hitman Codename 47 was developed by IO Interactive, a Danish game studio that was created through a partnership with the film studio Nordisk Film. The concept for the first game would go through a lot of changes. The initial idea was for an MMO, which for a studio's first game, maybe I'm not versed enough in MMOs of the time, but that seems like a giant task that they would be ill-equipped to handle, right? I mean, how many failed MMOs and MMO scams do we have in the modern day? Final Fantasy XIV, a game by Square Enix, who were industry veterans, had to turn it off and turn it back on again before the game was good. And I assumed that Nordisk felt the same way because they'd go to IO and ask them to work on something simpler as a way to test themselves. And IO would accept this and decide on making a shooter game. And while the finished product would stray heavily from this idea, their initial inspiration being John Woo films, a lot of that DNA is still present in the series, mainly through the box arts and advertisements, which is probably why I never thought that these would be stealth games. I mean, 2 guns? Who's sneaking around, dual-wielding pistols, walking into places guns akimbo? That's the arsenal of a mass murderer, not a silent assassin. Even Snake just had a pistol. He had the decency to hide all the other weapons up his ass. The engine they developed for this game would actually be one of the first instances of ragdoll physics. And yeah, I'll get it out of the way. This game has some of the best ragdoll I have ever seen in my life. Enemies just go flying away when you shoot them in spectacular fashion every time. It was at this point that another company, Eidos Interactive, was impressed by the engine, and they would make a deal with IO to help work on the game. But they would also tell IO to shift focus from a standard shooter to a stealth game. Jonas Enroth of Eidos, who would become the executive producer, had worked on games like Deus Ex and Thief the Dark Project, so he had experience in stealth games where you take a more methodical approach, and he thought that with his experience and this engine, that stealth was the right direction to take this game. But man, imagine being IO. You come up with this idea for an MMO game, and then you get told, make something else, because that would be too hard and you're not built like that. So you make a shooter only for someone else to tell you to shift focus again and to make a stealth game, which is not as big of a change, and it would lead to a very successful series, but still, every idea that they had was told they should shift focus, try something else. That's gotta feel a little shitty, though I guess with this where the series is now, I'm sure they're not complaining. Yeah, remember all you 007 fans, you're getting your new game? That's all thanks to this face right here. Clearly, all of the intervention was for the best, because Hitman is definitely IO Interactive's cash cow. I haven't heard great things about their other endeavors, though, to be fair, they only published Mind's Eye, and you know what, I really like Mini Ninjas. You all should play this game if you haven't. It's surprising to me that this game never saw life outside of the PC. I mean, I know why it wasn't exclusive at the time, because IO didn't have any console dev kits, and a lot of levels were remade in contracts, but this game has a lot of missions despite only having a few locations. Many take place over multiple missions with multiple targets. There's a whole lot going on, and while I haven't played Contracts yet, I can't imagine it scratches the surface of what's really going on in this game, considering that game also has its own unique levels to fit in. Though to be completely honest, we're not missing much with this game staying banished on PC. The game would only do okay sales wise, but it did fairly well in reviews, though even back then they were aware of all the flaws this game had, but praised it for being rewarding for those willing to persevere, and the tense atmosphere in the levels, as well as being fairly unique. But until now, I've barely seen anything from this game. Hell, I didn't know it existed until recently. I wonder why it's so forgotten. Surely it hasn't aged that badly.
Hey, alarm!
Yeah, I'm gonna need $10.
The game opens with 47 in a padded cell being woken up by someone claiming to be his friend and the only person that he can trust. He guides you through the tutorial area, where you disguise yourself as an orderly to escape. And from here, there's not much of an overarching story, just various jobs in different locations. The first takes place a whole year later, with 47 working as a hitman for the International Contracts Agency, or the ICA.
Ah, so this is Hong Kong. People talk of it as an interesting place, filled with mystery, laughs, and excitement, they say. Not really my scene.
He's in Hong Kong to kill Li Hong, which is a sentence that sounds racist as shit. He's a triad boss, but because of his status, 47 has to do multiple jobs in order to safely kill Li without too much resistance. To do this, he starts a gang war between the red and blue dragons. First by sniping a red dragon during a negotiation. This level is okay. My first problem is that you get paid up front and can spend that money on equipment, but there's no telling what might be useful besides what's auto-selected, and I assumed that I wouldn't need a full-blown sniper rifle on level 1 and took fiber wire instead. And this led to a very important realization. This game blows! Firstly, these guys hound you if you're around the park when they arrive. Even if you're not in the park, they will still run up on you just to tell you to fuck off. And look, I think David Bateson is the definitive voice for 47. It's literally not even a fucking debate. He is great at delivering lines like someone whose life revolves around death and is desensitized to the things that he sees on a regular basis. But man, is his voice so stilted in these levels.
Have to leave the park.
Okay,
Sorry, this park closed today.
too bad.
He sounds more like a robot, and don't get me started on the borderline racist Chinese accents. Anyway, I find this elevator, but a guy is sitting here for some reason just telling me to fuck off, so I try to walk up behind him and fiber wire him so I can maybe take his clothes and get close to my target.
We have a situation here. He's packing. This guy is coming.
But I figure out the right method anyway. Rush to get up here, bust out the sniper, realize your aim is shit, and escape. Easy enough once you know what you're doing, but it gets worse because in the next mission you have to plant a car bomb and frame it as a red dragon retaliation. The first time I tried to get close to the car, this guy just started shooting me because I was, I guess, standing there too long and thinking about what I needed to do, and he just didn't fucking like that. So clearly I need to find a way to get him away from the car, or to at least not be paying attention. But because of what happened with the fiber wire, I couldn't figure out that I was supposed to follow the driver and take his clothes, because what this moment did for me was it made me afraid to explore and experiment. If I fuck up, I'll get gunned down in an instant and need to restart. And now I'm not even confident in my ability to walk up behind someone and kill them, because as far as I know, these guys all have ESP and will immediately know if I pull out a weapon. I only realized this after reading a guide and watching a playthrough, but as far as I can tell, my mistake was that I wasn't sneaking. You can press a key to go into this sneak mode, and I can't tell if this is overpowered or if the normal stance is needlessly nerfed. And the tutorial went over none of this, by the way, how this shooting gallery didn't even work. All the tutorial covered was this jumping feature that is only used once. Definitely go into this game with a guide. Don't go in blind, you will never beat this game. But back to my first attempt with the car. I fail and this guy opens fire, which kills me almost instantly, and then I respawn, because apparently this game has a life system where you respawn at a checkpoint a certain number of times depending on the mission. Okay, that's kind of cool. Maybe this...
This guy is loaded.
This game isn't gonna be fun, is it?
Okay, so I fully restart, kill this guy, blow up the car, mission complete. Next we have to kill the police chief and frame it on the triad again. They're meeting in this restaurant, and while the method is clever, how would someone figure this out? You need to use the bathroom at the start and leave a gun there. Find this guy, snatch his clothes, go back to the restaurant bathroom, and why is the camera not letting me get a clear shot? Fuck! Whatever, I made it out somehow, and now I can finally kill Lee Hong. Only one issue. This level showed me that this game had hands. This is the biggest and most complex level so far. It's not asking too much, but one mistake can screw up the whole mission and you will have to restart. The first part is simple enough. Get a guard disguise and meet with this girl, and she'll give you a code to the safe that you need the contents of. This part is very easy. The only threat is the uneasy feeling that all of these racial stereotypes and bad accents might qualify as a hate crime, and now you're an accomplice, and that's just way too much to worry about. The part that gets hard is finding CIA Agent Smith in the basement. This place is huge and almost every door is guarded, so not only do you have to find the right door, but kill the guard and hide them quickly. The first time I tried this, I dropped the guard and accidentally freed Smith before the body was out of sight. In a panic, I skipped the cutscene to move the body, but that meant that I missed the vital information in this cutscene, the location of the correct safe, which is in one of 4 random spots. Choosing wrong triggers an alert, which means you're likely dead. And because this map has no legend, I didn't realize that it was telling me where the safe was because I thought that this was Lee Hong. So I get spotted, somehow escape and switch clothes, but then I'm spotted again because I guess they realized the white guy was probably an intruder, and they kept killing me over and over again every time I respawned. And then I realized something. I don't care. I'm cheating. Infinite health, infinite ammo, and hell if I need it, invisibility. I got nothing to prove, and I got work tomorrow.
Now you may be asking, how can I truly experience a stealth game if I've removed all the consequence that comes with mowing everyone down? To which I say, do you want to play this fucking game?
Now I did go back after beating the game and tried the levels again legitimately with no cheat codes, just to see if anything changed now that I'm familiar with the routes. But for the most part, the successful runs I'm showing you have some cheats on, and my thoughts have not changed much. Hell, I think it probably feels even worse. We trade the contents of the safe for some poison and find a waiter outfit to poison Lee Hong's meal, but his guard tries it first and dies, so Lee escapes and we give chase to finish the job. That's Hong Kong done. I won't go as in depth on the other areas, but I figured it was important to describe my first experience in detail so you understood why I stooped to cheating.
Colombia. From what I've heard, even the butterflies are corrupt and smuggling drugs. Now, Let's get the show running. Which way is south?
The next area is Colombia, where we have to kill a drug lord, but in order to get close to him, we'll need the help of a local tribe. Their idol was stolen to be used to smuggle cocaine, so we have to find it. Thankfully, it's marked on the map, being a little southeast, so we can just...
You know what? That one's on me. I should have expected that.
Thankfully, this map is big enough that if a group spots you, you can just kill them all and the others won't be alerted. Hell, the guide I used said to be prepared for a firefight, so this stealth game is going great so far. Also, and the game doesn't tell you this is the guide that told me this, you don't get to restock between levels like you could in Hong Kong. Anything you have on you at the end of the first mission is what you bring into the next mission, so make sure you're stocked when you end the level. It's easy to find the idols, and you can bring it to the... Indians? I thought we were in Colombia, and what's up with this cutscene?
I honestly don't know what's worse, the casual racism or the level design.
White man, you bring back joy into our hearts.
What?
With the return of Chietsuros. But the drug lord took
Could
my
you speak
brother
up a
also.
little bit?
He is in the big ridge. If you follow the river west, you'll
God,
find him.
what is
When I
this,
come
Sonic
back, you
Adventure?
must show me.
The chief says he'll help us if we free his brother, so we kill more people who must be psychics because how was I seen? I'm dressed as a soldier. Why was a knife suspicious? Did I write I'm Hitman on it? At least it's fun to watch these guys die. That's a messed up sounding sentence. The tribe shows you the entrance to the drug lord's base, though you have to sacrifice a pig to the tribe's god. This level sucks. You need to sneak into his office, but it's crawling with guards, and they're quick to see bodies. If you get caught once, they're gonna start shooting and alert the others. Your best bet is to just find a room and kill everyone, then enter the main office to kill the drug lord.
Hello, ICA, I'd like to place an order. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, can you come kill me?
Why the hell does he have so much health? I thought that I was missing a gimmick, because he constantly taunts you in a cutscene when you shoot him enough, so I went out to get this minigun that I had found earlier, but no, you just have to adore him until he eventually gets blasted out the window. For a stealth game, the minigun is the most fun I've had. Enemies just get pinned to walls when you shoot them with this thing. Too bad you walk super slow, because I'd have loved to get all the mileage out of this thing that I could have. With the drug lord dead and everyone alerted to my presence, I dash to the lab and bomb it before flying away.
Now, I know that with infinite health and ammo, I have removed all the risk that comes with being caught. But honestly, I think that this game is simply too punishing for standard trial and error.
Despite having the life system, getting caught basically means that you have to reset the whole level because they remember you. And especially on this mission, I've been spotted by people I couldn't see and hell right out of the gate sometimes. I'm still trying to do things the right way, but it feels so finicky on if it'll work or not. When will the guards sense me pulling a weapon? What guards can actually see me right now? What's considered suspicious? Where do I need to go? What's considered trespassing? One wrong move and that's it. Everyone knows where you are. It doesn't matter how many times you respawn, they know where you are and they will kill you.
Budapest and the Thermal Bath Hotel. What a classy looking place. And well guarded too. It's time to look sharp and concentrate. A good thing I brought my suit.
The next level is Budapest, the only standard level with only one mission. We have to assassinate the target and find an explosive planted in the hotel. For the most part it's easy enough, but killing this guy to get the key to his office takes too long. He just lingers in a lot of area with people, so stalking him took a while. I did find out on my second run through this level that if you just book it to the sauna, he'll be there and you can kill him right off the bat. But if you don't do that, be prepared to wait. I actually recommend not following a guide as much for this one, at least not the IGN one that I did. It doesn't explain things very well, likely expecting you to follow it to a T but without explaining things all that well. Like you're supposed to go get a gun from this guy, but I don't know why or how because it didn't work for me. This is a decently designed level though, even if finding the bomb at the end went to shit and I decided I couldn't take it anymore. You know, I was supposed to get the bomb so the people here wouldn't die. Whoops.
Rotterdam Harbor. It's not exactly a tourist resort. But then again, I'm not here for a vacation either.
The next mission, that I forgot where it takes place, I think it's Berlin. We need to put a tracker on a car, so we watch the stripper routine to get her to distract the guard. Then we kill everyone in this warehouse because I guess they forgot that this is a stealth game too, and move the tracker into this case of money to give it to the Mad Hatter. This mission was honestly fine, aside from, again, there are people who feel like they can see you from way too far away, and there are dogs which suck. The worst part is after you've cleared out the warehouse, you need to hide the bodies, and that's not a very fast process. It is extremely tedious, but easy enough. The Mad Hatter runs away with the money with the tracker in it. Now I'll admit, the next mission broke me. I got spotted almost immediately, and in this level, when someone spots you, or if they just see something suspicious, they will go tell the target, Boris, and he will activate a nuke. Something about this, with all the horror stories I had heard about this level, reading the guide that just straight up admits that this level is complete utter dogshit doo-doo and super tedious and not fun, I kinda just killed everyone with the invisibility cheat on. I'm not proud of it, but I'm also not putting up with this bullshit because it's just the epitome of everything wrong with this game. Because if you want to do it right, not only are you just up to the whims of the game working, you also have to wait for guards to be alone, which they don't like to do very frequently. If I had to do this level legit, I probably would have just cut there, not beaten the game, and moved on with my life. The thought of playing this level a second time because I failed, I think that would have broken me and maybe even stopped the whole marathon.
I need to use the bathroom.
And that brings us to the last level, this hospital that's also in a country I don't remember. We're here to kill Dr. Kovacs, but our briefing informs us that all of our previous jobs have come from the same client, which is against regulations. Despite this, the ICA agreed to one final mission, despite the client's insistence that 47 is the one to complete it, and I'm just now realizing that 47 has only been named in the title. When we get in the hospital, 47 recognizes Dr. Kovacs, but it's not like that's really explained to us. He just says,
Hey, I recognize you. You were the one with a needle.
but it's not explained what that means. But apparently this place has ties to 47's past, and it turns out it's a trap as SWAT teams storm in to take 47 out. He deals with them, and Kovacs then searches the hospital for answers, running into Agent Smith again, who shows him the secret way into the basement. This is actually the same place that we escaped from in the opening. It's hard to recognize because most of this area was unused in the tutorial, but you can see the gate that you sneak through with your first disguise.
Go!
Once we're down there, the voice from the tutorial starts talking to us, revealing himself as the one that made the clones that 47 is a part of. Again, I don't think that's said, but he's Dr. Ortmeyer that Kovacs mentioned being the mastermind and the client for all of this game's jobs. Despite his pride of 47's skills, he wanted a more obedient creation, so he sicks a bunch of other clones on 47. Now, and I don't know if these are all technically 48 clones, everything I see just refers to them as 48s, or if they're 48 through 58, because in my mind, numbering them is because that's the number that they are. You know, it's not like they're iPhones, or there's a bunch of iPhone 47s, or maybe that is how it works. I don't know, that's never explained to anyone. Not that it matters because they all die, and 47 kills Ortmeyer, ending the game in the white void from the game over screen.
What the hell was that?
This part sucks. Sure, I'm invincible, but this game doesn't have good combat. Intentionally so, to incentivize stealth, but you're made out of paper, as I learned at the very beginning. This is no different. The enemy AI acts exactly the same, where they just rush you in mag dump. It doesn't take long enough for lucky shots to put you down. Okay, but let me talk about the story for a second. Now, a lot of what I know comes from stuff that came out later. because the information in this game alone, nilch. It's weird, you basically get nothing. For one, I don't think that it is ever stated that 47 himself is a clone. Ortmeyer might say it while you fight the 48s, but it also could be taken that they're clones of 47 while he's the original, but he's not. He's a clone of 5 people. I don't know why Agent Smith knows some of this or why he's even here in the first place. I don't know what Needle 47 was talking about. I mean, I know that it's the memory loss serum from the modern games, but nothing in this game suggests that he's even had his memories tampered with. And I don't know why Ortmeyer ordered all this game's hits. I think because the main targets, including Ortmeyer, were the ones who donated genetic material that would be used to make 47, but I could be wrong, so please correct me. And I know I gave 47's voice shit for the in-game dialogue because it's bad, but his little comments on the locations he visits are pretty well delivered, even if a little out of character for what he would become and what I've come to expect. But it gives the game a bit of a like noir detective feeling to it, and the voice of Ortmeyer is also
For a celebration. Here's Daddy. Welcome home.
I don't know if it's good, but it's certainly entertaining. He's clearly giving it his all. He's clearly having a lot of fun. It was a treat, in my opinion. I know some people found it annoying, but I really liked listening to him talk. For a developer's first game, this is extremely impressive. So much of the series' DNA is present here, it's very easy to see where certain things started just by playing through this game, even with cheats. But my god, this game is not fun. The way these games handle stealth compared to something like Metal Gear is much more punishing. If you get caught, then they'll see through that disguise even if you lose them. Hell, even if you die and respawn, that can completely kill a run, and in this game getting caught is very easy. It's not like other stealth games where you don't want to be seen at all. In this game, being seen is a constant. You're hiding in plain sight, but once that hiding spot is compromised, it's compromised for good. Maybe you couldn't see the guard that spotted you, or you were holding the wrong item that you couldn't even see was in your hand because the camera's too close to 47's bald head. They saw you a mile away, or they have ESPN and sensed a disturbance in the force. It feels like it would be near impossible to figure out what you're supposed to do on your own. Like I said, I was afraid to explore and experiment. I didn't even want to be holding a weapon or stand too close to someone, let alone kill them. Often encounters devolved into gunfights or you will wander around looking for any form of progress. A big part of the series as it exists now is exploring and experimenting, finding unique ways in the level to get to where you want to go, to get close to the target, or to get the target somewhere so you can kill them in a certain way. And while I'm sure a lot of that stuff exists in this game, it still sort of feels like there's only one right way to do things because of how punishing the game is if you get caught. I watched a guide and read a guide, and it felt like if I strayed from that blueprint, it could kill the whole run. And I was afraid of that because I didn't want to lose all the progress I had made. So I was very cautious, played it very safe, and still I would get caught all the time. I have no idea how anyone found out how to beat these levels in a successful way to create these guides, because even navigating just the last level in both missions is, I can't even find the words to explain how annoying it is. These places are built like mazes, and even when I figured out the trick to move on, it didn't work at first. I tried to bring a 48 clone to scan it, and it didn't work. So I wandered around a bit, only to come back and try it again, and oh look at that, it decided to work this time. Even as a shooter, while the ragdoll physics making killing enemies fun, without the god cheat, I could see this game being very infuriating with how fast you die. Hell, I know it is because I tried to avoid using it, and every time I was sprayed down and spawn killed. This game hasn't aged well. There's no way around it. This game has not aged well at all, and it's straight up not fun to play. It's too punishing for how inconsistent it feels, and unfortunately that overshadows the impressive mechanics and attention to detail, because playing this game quickly becomes frustrating because the smallest mistake could mean resetting the level entirely. With where the series is now, I wouldn't mind seeing this game remade in some form, or at least ported with some quality of life improvements, mainly just a save system. I didn't mention the lack of a save system because I feel it would be unfair to judge this game based on a standard that was set in the future, but I do think I'd be more lenient with the game's jank about getting caught if I could quick save. That way getting seen isn't a run killer, I can just reload the save, and if my save is super far back, that's on me for not being prepared.
But despite its rough edges, this game would do well enough to score itself a sequel, and one on home consoles at that. Hopefully this game is a vast improvement over the original. And you know what? I honestly have faith that it very well could be. Despite everything wrong with it, this first game is very impressive for IO Interactive's first game. And with all the experience they have now that they've made it, I see no reason why the sequel can't be something I end up really enjoying, similar to Crash Bandicoot. God, I hope I'm right. But we won't know until next time when I take a look at Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. Until then, I hope you have had a great day, a beautiful morning, an awesome night. If it is your birthday, then happy birthday. And I wanted to ask you, I recently unlocked the ability to open up channel memberships. And that feels weird that that's something I can do. So I wanted to ask you all, those of you who watched to the end of the video, what do you think of that? Is that something that you have interest in at all? I genuinely don't know. It feels weird it feels like asking for money, which is essentially what I'm doing. But is that something that, there's interest in? I want to gauge where people are at with that. I don't want to just come out the gate like, hey, you can give me money. I want to know what you think. And I put it at the end of the video because I figured that's where the most loyal of you and those of you who would have the most valuable thoughts on that would end up is the end of the video. So please let me know what you think, if that's something that I should consider or look more into. But that's a whole topic for another time. Take care.